My name is Randy, and this is our story. Dan's mom and I divorced when Dan was about 5, and I think Dan had some anger over that whole situation. Dan wasn't living with us, and we would go for long stretches without much contact with him. It was hard to really figure out what we could do, until finally it got to the point where Dan had lost his job and lost his apartment, and he was living with a friend. We knew that the drinking issue was out of control. His friend's family finally had enough of Dan as well. They called my wife and said, "We're bringing Dan home. He can't stay here anymore. We're bringing his stuff with us." I was at work, and he showed up there, and they literally dumped everything off that he had in our parking lot. And Dan came in and talked to me, and I said, "You can't come home in the situation that you're in, but I will do everything in my power to support you in treatment." He called a friend, and the friend came with a truck and picked him up. And at that moment, I wasn't sure I was ever going to see him again. About 2 days later, Dan called and said, "Will you help me get into treatment?" I said, "Absolutely, I'll be with you 100% of the way." And that started the road to getting our son back. Mooring House was a great experience for Dan because it gave him some structure. It gave him an opportunity to get connected with STEP because Dan was not working at that point in time. And so it gave him a chance to get a job and get some work experience. What's the value of a life? If the programs turn one life around, then how do you put a number on that? How do you value putting a family back together? Literally, our prodigal son came home. I mean, he's a mile away from us today. We see them often. He has 2 great kids. He has a great job. Becky has a great job. I mean, it is a miracle. If we save one person's life, then everything that STEP and mooring programs accomplish is worth it. I want to say thank you. Thanks for my son back.